Apelida. Lo pico. Kita mengenal. Itu ada kan? Tiga. Ikaw ang tintalan. Tunggang mo. Ang wala. Ang kapayate ko, wala kong wala. Todo igual. Ang kapayate ko, ang sinso, yung ito at sa repetition. And lead us. May we set aside our religion and seek what you desire for us to accomplish. Please direct our thoughts and guide our discussion. Help us to be attentive and respectful of one another's input and to work as a team. We ask that you grant us clarity of mind and lead us to helpful solutions. In Jesus' name, amen.
and welcome to those joining us via live stream and in person. At this point, we will now proceed with the roll call. Back attendance, back chairperson, Engineer Donald Mark F. Barangay. Back regular member, Engineer Irene C. Ligarte. Back provisional member, Engineer Norhaya C. Nambuay. Back end user representative, Engineer Pastor G. Bandelis. And yours truly, back head secretariat, Engineer Rodolfo I. Cesar. For PDS representative, Engineer Jimboy P. Ladra. Engineer Joseph Kalimo. Wala rin. And we would like also to acknowledge the presence of the various representatives from various local government and barangays. Elma Sahol from Camuayan. Good morning. Loretta Ano? Camuayan, Balingasag. Good morning. And Roger from Balingasag. Morning, sir. Thank you.
So, for this pre conference of civil works, I will present to you the project with the title Construction of Bridge, Construction of Camuayan Bridge, Station 5 plus 015 to Station 5 plus 075, Balingasag, Misamis Oriental. Next, please. Contract ID 26KK0030, bridge length 60 meters, year construction just neglect because it was what was not changed, but for the it will be implement for this year. So location Ngao City, Misamis Oriental, appropriation 91,645,000 pesos. Approved budget cost 88,435,158.98 pesos. Project duration 335 calendar days. Ay, sorry. Wala. Wala kang mag-match, sir. 30 or 30 sa 30. 30. Yes, sir. Ay, sorry. Sorry. The location lang. Location pa. Change ko mala. Ay, taas location. Sorry for the error. Correction lang. This project was located at Barangay Camuayan, Balingasag, Misamis Oriental. That's right. Balingasag. Nagka-mix up lang. So, next please. So, next please. So, project location, just like what I've said a while ago, so Kanisha is located at Barangay Camuayan, So going to Camuayan from Barangay Rosario, so Balingasag, Misamis Oriental. So next please. So muna itong topographic map sa atong structure, particularly sa atong bridge. So natay, actually ang speed nga existing is kung asa sa located, dito na po located ang atong two lines. So later on, I will explain to you the alignment sa atong detour. Next please. So muna siya atong general plan sa atong bridge na kay two span nga type 4 nga girder nga tag 30 meters, so overall natay 60 meters, and then natay width nga 9.54 meters. So including na dara ang atong 1.211 na sidewalk, which is kani siya bridge, by the way, is this currently standard nga gina-implement ni DPWH. Next please. So muna natin general elevation plan sa atong bridge. Makita natin na siya elevated nga kuha, finished grade, knowing kaning spillway nga existing is agka sa tawan. So gabog din yung elevation daan. So next please. So muna siya atong general ang typical section sa atong abutment A o abutment B. So ang ganyan kanina na kay 1.11 nga 110 nga sidewalk plus 7.320 nga clear roadway or bridgeway. Kumbaga, so yan na po din to including a sidewalk, and then makita po nato atong pre-stress nga I4 na girder. So by the way, ato din deep foundation dari is dili concrete pile, kundi each pile may length nga 36 meters. So next please. So muna atong typical section sa atong atong pier, which is nalang tayo isa ka pier nga structure. So masyang structure sa in between sa atong bridge. So next please. So and also na po din tayo structure nag-include approaches knowing elevated na ning atong bridge deck, finish level sa bridge deck, and then taingon sa existing dalan. So natay retaining wall nga gi-design para dili makulag sa atong approach, transition na siya padulong sa existing road. So next please. So buot ito na sa abutment A ug abutment B. So also nalang tayo gi-design detour access road para sa since ang atong trabaho is katong existing spillway as per agreement or sa agreement tamo sa LGU nga dito ay tawag gyapon ang atong tulay. So natay gibuhat nga detour para giantod sa mga tao nga moadto agi dari nga project. So 60 meters nga spillway nga sa stone kilid, and then each file nga each file driven nga gibutang in between sa atong RCPC nga tag 7 ka buok each line. So natay kani siya nga each file is tag kani siya 3 meters, 1.5 ang driven, 1.5 ang mulak sa atong RCPC nga tag 910 diameter. So matanong mo anong taas kayo. So actually taas gid ang nasa site code. So gihaom lang namo kung sa site according to site condition. So muna siya nga mong nakamak. So natay 2 meters lang nga elevation vary. So wala na mo siyang itaas pag kayo kay knowing maraming purpose is itapan nila ko yung tubig pa dili siya itulog pa bahaon bitaw or gubaon sa kuan. So next please. So may siya atong sa atong kuan wala yung panining deeper there is tubig kan sa LGU amo paning tubig tubig coordinated na sila kung dili na nila or sa depende kung asa. Yes sir. Upstream, yes sir, upstream siya sir, pero dili pa rin siya final kaya ato paning survey po dito kung asa nato ibutang baga nga atong detour kay actually with coordinate ang among kagid karon is mo-coordinate gid mi sa LGU regarding ani para wala tay problema sa pag-implement. So next please.
After some budget, kumaon or
Yes sir, dili siya permanent gid sir kay private ang agian, private property. So
kung mas maliit ang kanila, kaya mo kung kumaon.
well, sir, actually katong pinakaunang gid nga layout gid dali sa bridge is dili gid siya mismo ta dili supposed to be sa ibabaw ta siya, pero since ang di ba sir ang yuta ani is negotiated, so mo to nga na tabag gid mi nga dili na lang ibutang ang kuan ang tulay is
Kapalay kabalo sila na after the budget,
temporary naman
hindi ako.
Pwede, depende na sa akin kung actually, paano na temporary naman na yung design. So,
Okay, okay. Mas wala mo sir, mag-start ako input tayo na-resolve niyo na okay na hindi na siya gubaw. Kaya.
so next please. So, these are the bill of quantities na included sa atong project. So, first is natay provision field office for engineers, natay provision furniture and fixture equipment and appliances for field office for engineers, project labor and signboard, occupational safety and health program, traffic management, mobilization, demobilization, detour access road, removal of obstruction of concrete, removal of obstruction 0.2 inches na precipitating and reinforced, bridge structure excavation or soft track, shoring cribbing and related works, cribbing or copper damming, embankment from roadway structure excavation, soft track, embankment from bore or common soil, aggregate service course, Portland cement concrete pavement and reinforced 0.30 thick 14 days, stillage pile furnace 305 mm by 305 mm na 125 kilogram per meter na each pile for its deep foundation. And structural steel sheet pile furnace, steel each pile nga driven, structural steel sheet piles nga driven, concrete railing standard, reinforcing steel grade 40 and 60, structural concrete nga 27.58 megapascal, pre-stressed structural concrete members nga type 4 nga dash B nga I girder, beam concrete class B, pane, remolded expansion joint pillar with sealant, expansion joint 50 mm nga gap steel finger type, seismic isolation bearing, lead rubber bearing or katong ginatawag na to sa una nga bearing pad. And then type culvert class 4 ng RCPC, stone masonry, concrete slope protection, gabions nga 1x1x2, metallic coated, drain pipe nga galvanized, and lastly is reflectorized thermoplastic pavement na white o yellow.
Ikuha na mo siya. Dito siya, natutol, pero ang problema natin ito may mahal. Mahal siya. Kasi parang experience mula sa highway. One yung experience na nindot sa purpose na design for like mga ligo-ligo o what, siya. But, ang problema ay pwede lang.
DEO nga panbalik
Kasi maguba ang talian ng hanggang kung ayun siya dali maguba, pero maguba gapon sa malugay. And then, kato siya nga item, mahal ba? Ito nga po yun.
So, na may mga patana sir, actually, that is the end of the atong presentation. So,
Schedule ang sa akin. LP, barangay o para sa pamahay ako na lang. Ano ba? Karang LGU may iba ba dapat kung mag-record niya po. Kasi i-invite natin ito sa susunod na dahil dito sa
something department which titled Rehabilitation or Merger for Permanent Bridges. So the Butuan Bridge along BCIR. So that's list. So contract ID 26KK0024, bridge length 179 meters, year construction, so natupaning 1977. So therefore almost 50 years na siya in road service. Location in City, Misamis Oriental, appropriation 30,428,000 pesos. Approved budget cost, 29,818,78.10 pesos. Project duration, 377 calendar days. Next, please. Project location, so if you are living in Hong Kong, so ito ni nga kulay ito. Natay, for this current status is natay one-way scheme nag-implement na rin nga project. So makita gini nato or ma-agyan gini nato ni nga kulay. So next please. So muna siya atong topographic map sa atong bridge corresponding sa atong layout sa atong kulay gid mismo in actual condition. So napay 7 span, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 span, and then napay unang ka pier structure with 2 apartment nga nasa ito. So next please. So muna siya atong general plan. So ako nang ikang niya 179. So ang current area ang width lang ni dari kung sa in slant way is nasa IQ nga ako measurement is nasa 10.8 meters. So next please. So muna siya ay 10.9 sorry. So muna siya atong existing abutment structure in typical section. So muna ay abutment of pier, sorry. So wala siya kabok bali. So muna ang existing nga mga structure nga nasa 12 condition. So nasa 10.960 kung atong sukdon ang iyang skew nga measure, and then natay 4.5 o 4.5 na carriageway. Overall natay 9 meters na kuha nga carriageway, including na yung plus ang 0.98 na sidewalk. So actually gamay gid siya based sa actual existing condition. And then according to girder ng existing na siya distance nga 3 meters each spacing. So nga na ito 4 na girder. So next please. So may siya ang atong actually by the way ang atong babalik sa kumam ang atong general scope there is ang replacement sa atong bridge deck. Wala labot ang pier, wala labot ang girder. So bridge deck lang ta including ang atong railings. So next please. So muna siya ang atong slab framing plan since ang atong scope man is ang atong bridge deck replacement sa atong bridge deck. So muna atong slab framing plan with corresponding sa atong reinforcement and then sa atong mga diameters sa atong rebar. So next please. So muna siya atong reinforcement over pier nga nakatakal section po nga slab bridge deck slab with girder. So next please. So muna siya atong transverse section sa atong mga reinforcement nga naka section. So next please. And also namin taging gidugang nga karang steel deck na i-install underneath sa atong bridge knowing lisod po kaya atong formworks dari. So atong include ang atong steel deck para dili ra siya lisod pag magbuhos sa concrete. So next please. So lastly, these are the materials. So bill of quantities included sa atong project. So natin provision of bill of office for engineers, natin project billboard signboard, occupational safety and health program, traffic management, mobilization, demobilization, general scaffolding, ensuring removal of structure of concrete, na rin tayo concrete railing standard. By the way, apila itong railing din nga ilisan po sa atong project. So scope. Ito rin 460, grade 30 and 60 structural concrete nga 27.50 megapascal. Meron tayo painting sa atong sidewalk na railings, expansion joint 50 mm steel figure type, metal deck panel sa atong steel deck, drain pipe galvanized for the drainage of the bridge. And lastly is ang thermoplastic pavement nga white.
Thank you, Jim. Jim.
Sorry, so sorry. Now, existing one next. So, okay, we think they are also inside building via as a second floor. Sa third floor, so mga kung existing mga purpose pa rin. And then, plus sa third floor, wala sa roofing material. This is what the kind of so basically storage is so some evolution. So okay, so that scope of station and installation of doors and windows. So it's still rolling, still masonry, ceiling, system, installation of okay, system, sprinkler system, system, and daily. So, taking these locations. Nasa tinatawag so it's doing location inside sa building. Two location. Tapos na pwedeng and finishing works. Okay. So, sa number one companies, siya ang cases, educational safety and program, immunization, mobilization, general staff and surveying and netting, removal of structures and obstruction. So we have structure installation from a survey and 326 embankment from the 85. So 80 cubic meters. We have 2.09 cubic meters Structural case of it is 88 days. 87 consensus to be imposed. Any case of it. CHB being eight kilometers, there also 6 kilometers, 61 kilometers. Since some movements was as window slightly 93 kilometers. As window 6 kilometers. Finishing up some. So some sini some student 6 kilograms. 6 kilograms. This something is system 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 system
Document inside the bid. Technical and financial components. For the eligibility requirement, bidders are required to submit the following documents. First, a Philgel certificate of registration under collective membership. Second, a statement of all ongoing government and private contracts. Third, a statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract or SLCC. Fourth, the bidder's computation of the net financial contracting capacity, or NFCC. Finally, for joint ventures, a joint venture agreement, or JVA, in accordance with Republic Act number 4566, otherwise known as the Contractor's License Law, and its implementing rules and regulations. Please be reminded that the failure of the bidder to update their FieldJet certificate of registration with the current and updated supporting documents shall result in the automatic suspension of the bidder's certificate. For the single largest completed contract, or SLCC, the bidder must have completed a contract similar to the project being bid. The value of the SLCC, adjusted to current prices using the PSA Consumer Price Indices, must be at least 50% of the approved budget for the contract to be bid. However, contractors under small a and small b categories who do not have similar experience may still be allowed to bid, provided that the cost of the contract does not exceed the allowable range of contract cost of their registration, in accordance with PCAB guidelines. Please note that the SLCC must be supported by an owner's certificate of final acceptance issued by the project owner other than the contractor. Alternatively, a final rating of at least satisfactory in the CPES or a similar performance and monitoring system may be submitted. For contracts with the private sector, an equivalent supporting document shall be required. For the net financial contracting capacity, or NFCC, the bidder's computed NFCC must be at least equal to the approved budget for the contract to be bid. The NFCC is calculated using the prescribed formula as shown. The values of the current assets and current liabilities of domestic bidders shall be based on their latest audited financial statements. Joint ventures may participate in the bidding process, provided that the primary purpose of each member is similar or related to the requirements of the project. Each member of the joint venture shall be jointly and severally liable to the procuring entity in case of any breach or failure to comply with the project requirements. For the submission and receipt of bids, each bid shall consist of two components, the technical component and the financial component. These components must be placed in separate sealed envelopes and submitted simultaneously. Bids shall be received by the Bids and Awards Committee, or BAC, on the date, time, and place specified in the invitation to bid. The first bid envelope shall contain the technical documents, which must include at least a FieldJet certificate of registration under platinum membership, B, PCAB license and registration in the case of a joint venture, C, statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, D, statement of the single largest completed contract, or SLCC, E, computation of the net financial contracting capacity, or NFCC, F, joint venture agreement if applicable, and G, bid security in the prescribed form, amount, and validity period. H, project requirements, which shall include the following. 1, the organizational chart for the procurement project to be bid. 2, the list of contractors' personnel. For example, project manager, project engineers, materials engineers, and foremen to be assigned to the project, along with their complete qualification and experience. 3, the list of contractors' major equipment units, whether owned, leased, or under purchase agreements, supported by proof of ownership or certification of availability from the equipment lessor or vendor for the duration of the project. 4, omnibus form statement in accordance with section 54.3 of this IRR. 5, latest general information sheet, GIS, reflecting the beneficial ownership information, BOI, duly received by the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, for corporations. The following forms are for your reference. For bid security, all bids under competitive procurement methods must be accompanied by a bid security. The bid security serves as a guarantee that the bidder will enter into a contract if awarded the project. The bidder shall submit either a bid securing declaration or any form of bid security in an amount not less than the required percentage of the ABC, according to the following schedule. Cash or cashier's or manager's check issued by a bank, 2% of the ABC, bank draft or guarantee, or a revocable letter of credit issued by a bank, 5% of the ABC, surety bond callable upon demand issued by a surety or insurance company, 5% of the ABC. The omnibus form statement must be executed by the bidder or by its duly authorized representative. It should contain the requirements outlined in section 54.3 of the implementing rules and regulations of RA 12,009, contractors' key personnel. The key personnel should meet the following number of years' work experience. The experience means total years of civil works experience of any nature in construction and engineering consultancy service. Include the tax identification number or TIN of the key personnel. Compliance to DEO. 98 series of 2016. Revised guidelines on the accreditation of contractors, consultants, materials engineer, and to include the contact number of the materials engineer. Compliance to DEO. 148 series of 2024. Guidelines in the accreditation and assignment of contractors and consultants project engineer. If a proposed key technical personnel is an employee of the bidder and working on another project at the time of the bidding, the bidder shall submit a certification that 1. The personnel will be pulled out from the ongoing project once the bidder is awarded the contract, and 2. He or she will be replaced with another person with equal or better qualifications, as certified by the head of the implementing office, pursuant to Department Order Number 9, Series 2012. The proposed key personnel and replacement must be named in the bidding document. The following are the key personnel required. 1 project manager with 5 years of general experience and 5 years of relevant experience. A valid and updated government issued ID with 3 signatures should be attached. The second is 1 project engineer with 3 years of general experience, 3 years of relevant, and is a DPWH accredited project engineer. A valid and updated government issued ID with 3 signatures should be attached, including their project engineer certificate. The third personnel is 1 materials engineer who is a DPWH accredited materials engineer. A valid and updated government issued ID with 3 signatures should be attached, as well as their materials engineer certificate. The fourth personnel is 1 foreman who has 5 years of general experience and 3 years of relevant experience. A valid and updated government issued ID with 3 signatures should be attached. The fifth personnel is 1 safety officer 2, with 5 years of general experience and 3 years of relevant experience. A valid and updated government issued ID with 3 signatures should be attached, as well as their certificate of training issued by Dole. The last personnel is 1 full-time health personnel. A valid and updated government issued ID with 3 signatures should be attached, as well as their certificate of training. For contractors' major equipment units, the contractor must provide proofs of ownership or other supporting documents for equipment that is owned, leased, or under purchase agreements. For leased or purchased equipment, a certificate of availability from the lessor or vendor must be submitted for the duration of the project. Proofs of ownership and supporting documents must specify model and year, capacity, performance, or size, plate number, motor number, body number, chassis serial number, engine serial number, specific location and condition of the equipment. These requirements are in accordance with Department Order 58, Series of 2012. For contractors' minimum materials testing equipment, refer to Department Order 11, Series of 2017 for the required equipment. The second bid envelope shall contain the following financial documents. Original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form. Original of duly signed bid prices of the bill of quantities. Duly accomplished detailed estimates form, including a summary sheet indicating unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with the bid. Cash flow by order. Submission and receipt of bids. Bid submission may be done manually or electronically online. However, bidders should only select one mode of submission, either manual or electronic. The address for receipt of bids submitted manually is Back Conference Room, 3rd floor, DPWH MOFDEO, Barangay 26, Hingo of City, Misamis Oriental. For electronic submission, electronic bids _ Misamis Oriental 1 at dpwh.gov.ph. Modification of bids. Bidders may modify their bid before the deadline for the receipt of bids. In case of modification, bidders shall not be allowed to retrieve their original bid, but shall only be allowed to send another bid, equally sealed, properly identified, linked to their original bid, and marked as modification and stamped received by the back. Withdrawal of bids. Bidders, through a letter, may withdraw their bids or express their intention not to participate in bidding before the deadline for the submission and receipt of bids. They shall no longer be allowed to submit another bid for the same contract, either directly or indirectly. Withdrawal of bids after the deadline shall be subject to appropriate sanctions. The financial component of the bids of each past bidder shall be evaluated using non-discretionary criteria, including arithmetical corrections for computational errors, and thus determine the correct total calculated bid process. The BAC shall automatically disqualify any total calculated bid price which exceeds the ABC. The following factors are to be considered in the evaluation of the bid prices. Completeness. No price and required item free to the government, RA 12,009. Indicating a zero or a dash free to the government. All prices are deemed to include all taxes. Bids not addressing or providing all of the required items in the bidding documents, including, where applicable, BOQ, shall be considered non-responsive. Arithmetical corrections. Bid prices in figures versus words prevail. Total price per item versus unit price for the item as extended or multiplied by the quantity of that item. Unit price for the item as extended or multiplied by the quantity of that item prevails. Stated total price versus actual sum of prices of component items. Actual sum of prices of component items prevails. Unit cost in the detailed estimate versus unit cost in BOQ. Unit cost in BOQ prevails. Amount in price schedule versus amount in bid form. Amount in bid form prevails. Post qualification. Legal requirements. Licenses, certificates, permits, agreements, and non-inclusion in blacklist. Technical requirements. In personnel, minimum work experience requirements should be satisfied. Availability and fitment of major construction equipment and materials and laboratory equipment. Performance in ongoing government and private contracts. Negative slippage of at least 15% in any contract. Or a negative slippage of at least 10% in each of 2 or more contracts. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works on ongoing contracts within 7 calendar days and to complete them within 30 calendar days after receipt of procuring entities notice of defects and deficiencies. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works on contracts with pending certificates of acceptance within 30 calendar days and complete them within 90 days after procuring entities notice of defects and failures. Substandard quality of work as per contract plans and specifications, or unsatisfactory performance of the contractor's obligations as per contract terms and conditions at the time of inspection. Financial requirements, bid price proposal. Required committed line of credit in the amount specified and over the period stipulated in the bidding documents when applicable. An FCC, within 5 calendar days from receipt by the bidder of the notice from the back that the bidder has the LCB, MEAB, MAB, or HRB, the bidder shall submit the following. All the eligibility documents supporting its PhilJEP certificate of registration, platinum membership, its latest income and business tax returns filed for the preceding quarter, which should not be earlier than 8 quarters from the date of submission and receipt of bid, and other appropriate licenses and permits required by law and stated in the bidding document. The BAC shall recommend to the HOPE the award of contract to the bidder with the LCRB after the post-qualification process has been completed. Within 10 calendar days from receipt by the winning bidder of the notice of award, the following conditions should be complied before the contract may be awarded. Submission of the following documents by the winning bidder. Valid JVA if applicable. A valid PCAP license and registration for the type and cost of the procurement project to be bid for foreign bidders in infrastructure projects when the treaty or international or executive agreement expressly allows submission of such license and registration as a precondition to the notice of award, or the SEC certificate of registration of the foreign corporation, or the SEC certificate of registration of the foreign consulting firm, or the authority or license from the appropriate government agency or professional regulatory body of the foreign professionals engaging in the practice of regulated professions and allied professions, where applicable. Posting of performance security by the winning bidder in accordance with Section 68 of this IRR. Signing of the contract by the parties. Common errors in the submission of bids. Failure to submit original copy of the surety bond certified by the Insurance Commission, indicating the name of project, the procuring entity, and name of contractor. Shorter bid validity and bid security validity period. Overlapping of pledge equipment and committed key technical personnel. Failure to indicate the validity of bid in the bid form. Late submission of bids. Failure to submit supporting documents, such as the certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor vendor for the duration of the project, if equipment pledge is to be leased or purchased. Negative slippage in the ongoing projects, negative 15% or more, or negative 10% in each of the 2 or more ongoing projects. Unsatisfactory CPS rating, incomplete pages of bid documents, technical and financial. Authority of the signatory to sign on behalf of the bidder. Single proprietor. Signatory should be the owner, proprietor only. Corporation cooperative. Board secretary's certificate and board resolution. Joint venture resolution agreement. Partnership, as indicated in the articles of partnership.
Also to Department Order number 110 series of 2024, the DPWH has officially mandated ISO 901-2015 certification requirement as an additional requirement in the bidding documents. The Bids and Awards Committee is all prospective bidders of the obligation to fully and truthfully disclose all ongoing and awarded but not yet started contracts, including DPWH, other government and private contracts. To submit and declare any ongoing and awarded but not yet started contract constitute a ground for disqualification and imposition of appropriate sanctions. Procurement activities, issuance, downloading of bidding documents, including buying, payment of downloading on July 2026 until 8:30 a.m. Hard copies at Procurement Unit, 3rd floor DPWH Mukdeo, downloadable from the following websites: www.dpwh.gov.ph and Project's website www.projects.gov.ph. Result of bids, drafting of bidding documents on July 21, 2026 until 10 a.m. at DPWH Mukdeo. Drafting of bids on July 21, 2026 at 10 a.m. at Bakan Hills, 3rd floor DPWH Mukdeo. Category reports 26-23-0024 Rehabilitation Odiongan Alam Butuan City, Cagayan City, Legal reports bridge, rehabilitation, concrete, superstructure without tiles. construction of Camuayan station plus tide plus 015 station 5 plus 075 Balingasag Misamis Oriental. Major category reports bridge, construction, concrete, superstructure with garden tiles. 26-22-062 construction, completion of multi-purpose building, PNP building, Barangay, Poblacion, Lagonglong, Misamis Oriental. Major category works, buildings, construction without tiles, low-rise concrete frame, 1 to 5 stories. For technical and financial documents, please refer to the sample on the screen. It is a mandatory requirement that the bid and supporting documents should be hard and properly bound. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I move for the adjournment of this pre-bid conference civil dated July 7, 2026.
It was moved and seconded, so we will be speaking and transferring to